Yazid. And we spoke about the fact that Yazid forced Imam Hussein alayhi salam to accept him and threatened him with life, that if he does not accept Yazid, Imam Hussein would be put to death. So he said, "Inna الدعي ابن الدعي قد ركز بين اثنتين." Can we have some silence, please? I will wait till you this silence. Okay. Loud salawat, please. Madan wa ala Muhammad. Ayah of part of the Ayatul Kursi I was talking about last few nights. Allahu waliyul ladhina amanu. You can look at this ayah from many angles. It's one of those ayat of Holy Quran that has a treasure of meaning, like an ocean. You can dive into that ocean and take out as many treasures, as many meanings as you can. And the collections of hadith and the books of tafsir, what they have said about this ayat is a lot. We are looking at this ayat from a very particular angle. Allah has said that I guide through this system of wilayat, I guide people out of darkness into light. And the taghut mislead people out of light into darkness. So there is a light and a darkness. And nizam of Allah, the nizam of wilayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where there is a wali Allah has appointed, which takes people out from darkness. Darkness of sins, darkness of obedience of taghut, darkness of batil, darkness of jahl, dhunub, and darkness of all other kinds, that this wali of Allah takes people out from this darkness into the light of iman and hidayat, right? And najat. So I wanted to see, what sort of a system is that? Like how, under the nizam of wilayat, a person goes out of darkness into light. And what does that really mean? What sort of person should we become? If we want to believe, if we believe in the nizam of Imam Ali, then what is he expecting from us to be like? Obviously, there are some goals he had for the individual and for the society. There was something people had to do and learn, right? That means we have to encourage, for example, our children to do certain things and learn certain things, right? And again, for people who want to apply the nizam of Imam Ali alayhi salam, they must use the right method to do that. For example, a father or a mother who wants to teach his or her child be like, for example, the person like Imam Ali wanted, or as a member of his community, right? So the parent must be also aware of the right ways of teaching the child. Can't just say, okay, my ends justify the means. Okay, I want my child to pray. Does that mean I beat him to death until he starts praying? Is that what it means? What is the right way of teaching someone? So you see, there's a goal in education, tarbiyat. There's a content and substance, what we want to transfer to this person, and also the method and techniques and the environment we create so that we have individuals who become like the kind of person that Mawla Ali alayhi salam wanted to have around him, right? And as his Shia, that we call Shia, as his followers. Please cite a salawat. Allah Muhammad wa. As Shaykh al-Saduq, he brings this short statement from Mawla Ali. Imam Ali is saying, Allimu sibyanakum min ilmina ma yanfa'uhumullahu bihi. Teach your children from our knowledge. Teach your children from our knowledge, right? Something that Allah will benefit them with. So teach your children something from our knowledge of Ahlul Bayt, by which Allah will give them benefit. لِأَلَّا تَغْلِبْ عَلَيْهِمُ الْمُرْجِئَةِ بِرَأْيِهَا. So that the murji'ah will not take control over the minds of your children. What are murji'ah? Irja means to delay something. People who are who believe that Imam Ali was not the first Khalifa, they are Murji'a. That means they've delayed the Khilafat of Imam Ali. They say after Rasulullah, something that we believe in Khalifatun bila fasl, right? They don't believe that Imam Ali was Khalifatun bila fasl. They believe that Imam Ali was the fourth Khalifa. Murji'a are all those people who do not believe in the direct succession of Mawla Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam. Those are the Murji'a. And another meaning of Murji'a also has been given by our ulama, which is that Murji'a are people who delay in another sense. What does that mean? They believe that leave these matters to Akhirat. Yazid, Imam Hussein, Muawiyah, Ali, so and Imam Ali, whatever. These are not matters for us to worry about. Whatever is past is past. The day of judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will decide. Whatever is past, everyone was okay, everyone was nice. You know, they were all ashab of Rasulullah. We don't have to worry about it. What is this discussion of right and wrong, haq and batil, and Yazid and Hussein and all that? This is not for us. They were all, na'udhu billah, akabir of Islam. And we have not seen those times, so we don't understand it. We don't have to worry about it either. These are Murji'a. So Murji'a delay the wilayat of Imam Ali, the Khilafat of Imam Ali, and Murji'a say, okay, we don't have any obligation, a social Islamic obligation, an intellectual obligation to understand really what happened, who was right and who was wrong. It's more for Allah to decide. That we don't have any obligation today with respect to what happened in the past. For example, the fact that we all have gathered here for these majalis is because we think there is a sense of obligation that we feel, right, toward Imam Hussein alayhi salam. That the past is not something that has been washed away. The past is not something that does not affect us or that we have nothing to do with it. No, we believe that the past actually does have a lot of importance and relevance for us today and in future. So we cannot remain indifferent to what happened in the past. If you are following me, please recite a salawat. Yeah, so Imam Ali is saying, teach your children from our ulum and ma'arif. Teach your children our knowledge. What do you mean our knowledge? Well, first of all, as we mentioned earlier, Quran should be understood in the light of the teachings of Ahlul Bayt, something we call ta'wil of Quran. The right meanings and masadiq of Quran. For example, an ayat of Quran may have 20 different meanings because people may be translating it or interpreting this ayat in 20 or 40 or 50 different ways. Right meaning of that ayat is known to Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam and Ahlul Bayt. So you as a person who says, I believe in Imam Ali, must know this ayah of Quran, what is the right ta'wil of this ayat? Because in Surah Al Imran, Allah says very clearly, there are two kinds of verses. There are verses that have very clear meaning. It means if that verse of Quran you give to a non-Muslim, he will understand the same thing as you do. For example, wabil walidain ihsana. You can be kind to your parents. You give that ayat to a Muslim, to a Jewish person, to a Christian, all will understand the same thing. Everyone will understand the same thing. But if you take the ayah, for example, aqimus salat, Shia, aqimus salat means establish prayer. Okay, establish prayer how? What is the right prayer? What is the meaning of establishing prayer? Why not say sallu, for example? Why does Quran say aqimus salat, establish salat? Not just say sallu. You don't find in Quran anywhere saying sallu. It's always aqimus salat, establish prayer. What is the meaning of establish of prayer? What is prayer? If you ask people, they say of different ways. If you go to certain other Muslims, other than Shia and Sunni, they have their own ways of prayer. They say that is prayer. Some say you have to do ruku, some say you don't even have to do ruku, some say you don't have to even do these kind of actions. This is something our Imam teaches, something else we have to do. So there are 500 different ways people are praying, for example. Which one of this is correct? Which one of all these different options, different explanations of Quran is correct? There are many such verses of Quran, a lot of verses, perhaps the majority of verses of Quran need a correct interpretation, otherwise they will be misunderstood. They have been misunderstood. All this violence you have seen in the recent years, especially, it was always there. We had Jamal, Safin, Nahrawan. We had all the stuff that happened in the past centuries. To this day, almost every day now people don't read newspapers. Go online, find out what's going on in the world. You will see that, well, somebody is saying jihad and killing someone, and reading an ayat of Quran to justify it as jihad. Killing an innocent human being, justifying with an ayat of Quran. What is that? Is there that ayat in the Quran, or is it taken from some other volume of Quran which we don't have? It's in this Quran. So how come this Quranic verse is being applied to killing innocent human beings? It means something is wrong with the way it is being understood, right? Why? Is there a way by which we can be sure that we have understood Quran right? Yes. Holy Quran, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Inni tarikun fikumul ghalain." I'm leaving behind two things, not one. So anyone who says Quran is enough is lying to you. Rasulullah never said Quran will be enough for you. Rasulullah always said, I'm leaving behind two important things for you. Kitab Allah, the Holy Quran, wa itrati ahl bayti, as I mentioned before. My family, right? And they will stay together. That means Ahlul Bayt will explain anything you are not sure about, like 100% sure about, Ahlul Bayt will explain for you. Right? The source of being sure that when Ahlul Bayt have said something or not, you can check it with the Quran. Quran will testify to the truth of every statement by Muhammad and wa ali Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. You see, we are not disconnected from our past. We have a very strong relationship and connection with our past. This is one of those things Imam Ali emphasizes a lot. One of the statements from Imam Ali alayhi salam, which he said to his son Imam Hassan Mushtaba, he said, "Wastadil ala ma lam yakun bimakana, innahal fa innamal umuru ashbahun." Imam Ali alayhi salam said to his son Imam Hassan, "Wastadil, find argument over something that hasn't happened yet, and you are not sure which way it will go in future. For example, what we should do today in the society, in this world today, what sort of obligations do we have toward our future, Islamic point of view? This is our social responsibility, global responsibility as a Muslim, as a Shia Muslim. What is our responsibility?" Imam is saying, "Wastadil alama lam yakun," for things that have not actually occurred so far, must understand them in the light of what has happened before you. Bimakan, what has happened before will uh, clarify what is to come next. Past will explain your future. If you understand clearly, for example, what happened in Karbala, you will understand what will happen tomorrow. Even when you are living today, this year and today's world, Karbala will clarify your obligations. Karbala will show you the way. Past will, if you understand Karbala correctly. Similarly, if you understand exactly what happened in the Battle of Jamal, it will help you deal with your obligations today and tomorrow. Your children will know what to do tomorrow. The reason why Muslims got misguided is because they believed in things that we, like said, Murji'a believe that, oh, it's all for Allah to figure out. We don't have to worry about the past. What happened in Karbala is between two kings. They had some problem between them. Hussein and Yazid, now they had some family quarrels, the family conflict they were dealing with. We don't have to worry about it. But two kings, why do we have to worry? They were fighting between two kings. Don't have to worry about it. Ali and Muawiyah, oh, they were both rulers, like Khawarij, they were saying, in what was the slogan of the Khawarij? Al hukmu illa lillah. Allah is the king. Allah is the only ruler. Neither Ali nor Muawiyah. Ibrahim was given imamat by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Adam was made Khalifa by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Dawood was made Khalifa by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rasulullah was made Khalifa by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What are you talking about? How can Allah be a ruler? Allah is a human being running, for example, the economy of a country. Allah is the creator. He has set rules for us to follow. He has given responsibility, and He has also appointed leaders for us, and that we have to understand and recognize. Recognizing the leader is our obligation. Appointment of the leader is Allah's obligation. Please cite a salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. For example, in it's very famously known Battle of Jamal, when Imam Ali won that war. It was a one-day battle. Very, bloody, I would say, conflict. All happened in one day. And end of that day, well, Imam Ali won the battle. So one of the companions of Imam Ali was standing right next to Imam Ali, was feeling very happy. He was overjoyed because of the victory Imam Ali had over the enemies. He said, Amir al-Mu'minin, I wish my brother was here today to celebrate this, to be happy, enjoy this victory with us. So Imam Ali asked him, Hawa akhika ma'ana? Is your brother's opinion with us or against us? You are wishing that your brother would be with us. You wish that your brother was here with us. Is he in agreement with us? On our side? He's not present. Is he on our side? Like his viewpoint? He said, of course. My brother completely agrees with you. He's your follower, but he's not present. Imam Ali gave a beautiful reply. He said, then he's in this battle with us, and he has also taken part in this battle, and he has also earned the thawab of the victory that we have had today. He also said that not even him, not just him, future generations who will know about this conflict and will take sides with us, they are also present with us today. The baby, in the wombs of their mother, who have not even been born yet and will be born after 1,000 years or more, they are born and they learn about the Battle of Jamal and who was involved in it and why and who was right and who was wrong, are also present here today. He said they are present there. How is it? How is that possible? There's a hadith from Ahlul Bayt al-Musa, innama yajma'u nas ar-ridha was-sakhat. What unites people is not color of their skin or language. What unites people is not their religion. What unites people is not what they wear or what they eat. No. Innama yajma'u nas ar-ridha was-sakhat. What unites people is their opinions. All those who agree with something are on one side. Maybe black and white and all colors in the middle, maybe of different places in this world, different times and eras, right? But because they have the same viewpoint, they are all in one side. And those who disagree with something, they fall on the other side, even if they don't even know each other. They live 1,000 years apart from each other. People like today, if we take sides with Imam Hussain al-Islam, we really fully understand and achieve this conviction in our heart that Imam Hussain al-Islam was right. Imam Hussain al-Islam was the living example for me today. Then you are present in Karbala today. This is that important for us. So, example, the Masa'ib, when we read, what we do, we try to bring it in our takhayyul, right? We imagine that. The actual, because all in history. It's all in history. Nothing has been as clearly documented as Karbala has been. All the books of Tariq, all we call classical compilations of history, Karbala is a very, very well-known subject. Volumes have been written on Tabari, Yaqubi, Ansabul Ashraf, Balazari, all books of hadith. Every book of history has it. Books of hadith and others. So you study that, you find out, okay, and you place yourself there. You place yourself there. Understanding what happened, you actually find yourself in your imagination standing on the side of Imam Hussain al-Islam. That's exactly what we are doing, right? You really, if it's not just imagining yourself, but also believing in it, and depending on what is our level of our conviction. Like people can have yaqeen at different levels. One person may be sure of something but not willing to do anything about it. Another person is willing to speak about it. Another person is willing to spend money about for this cause. Another person is willing to die for it. If it comes to that, he will pay any price. So there is no way in his mind that if there is a call for duty that he is required to act, and the circumstances were just like the circumstances in the time of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, there is no other way for him. Only way is the way of Hussein ibn Ali alayhi salatu wasalam. Salawat, please. So you see, this uh, connection with our past is very important. Teaching and learning from the teachings of Ahlul Bayt about the Quran, teachings of Ahlul Bayt about our morals and our, how we relate to each other, our families, our community, for example. Opinions are so important, what we really believe in. Therefore, all other differences should put us on the side. Yes, we have different cultures. For example, today you're sitting here, different languages you speak. Some of you speak Urdu, some of you speak Farsi, Arabic, whatever. But should you stick to your language that much that it should create a distance between you and the next person? No, your opinions should unite you. Your beliefs should unite you, not your language. Because in this country, all languages are all gone. Yes, we speak our languages now in our families and all that. But what unites people, for example, is opinions, beliefs, our values. Values are so important that, for example, if you are listening to the same message, then all should be listening to the same message. We should really bring our hearts and our minds together and not allow anything to split us or divide us. Not allow anything related to culture or whatever it is, to create the gap between us. Because otherwise we are not really on this side. We are attending to secondary things. Less important things become more important for us then. We will not act as a community. But as you know that you are, for example, people in our community are not living in the same street, are we? Coming from different places. So what is uniting us really? Our beliefs. Our understanding of Quran is uniting us. Our understanding of history is uniting us. Our beliefs are uniting us. Our morals and values are uniting us. Isn't that so? Our goals and the vision for future that we have. We don't believe there is an impending doom waiting for us. The Qiyamah. No, we are waiting for the Basharat to be fulfilled by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. By the zuhur of Imam al-Hujjah, Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salatu wasalam. Please say salawat. Muhammadin wa ala. These are some of the things you see. So the goals of education are very important. Goals of tarbiyat that we keep in our minds. For example, the heroes of Karbala, Aliul Akbar. For a youth today, if you're not just listening to a story for the sake of that, if you're really into it with heart in your mind, then you should take Aliul Akbar, for example, as your role model. The young person. The younger person should take Qasim alayhi salam as a role model. A sister, you take Rabab or Zainab Kubra as a role model. Take those people as your role model. This is the goal of how, for example, can a person acquire that level of sabr and patience? How Bibi Zainab managed a crisis unprecedented in history. That she was able to manage the crisis, take care of 65 or 70 people left from Karbala tragedy, and manage through all the crises that happened one after another. Take care of not just that, also be the spokesperson for Ahlul Bayt. Her speeches became the final statement, as if Imam Zainul Abidin Islam was speaking from the mouth of Hazrat Zainab Salamullah alayha. Isn't that so? Speeches of Sayyidah Zainab in history are like listening to Imam Sajjad alayhi salam. Imam Sajjad said, Anti alimatun ghair mu'allama. You are a alima who did not have a teacher. Well, fahimatum ghair mufahama. You are a person of knowledge and understanding and wisdom. Did not need anyone to explain to her or give her impart wisdom to her. But that is the quality of Anbiya and Mursaleen. Allah educated them, isn't it? That is the quality that was not shared by other humans. Everyone needs to go to school and learn. How is a woman, for example, of that caliber? From the household of Ahlul Bayt, there were women who were so close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah became their teacher. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provided the knowledge, from unseen channels that Allah was able to educate, and this is possible, always possible for a human being to attain. And also to be of this level of sacrifice that even after a tragedy of Karbala, you look at the history, not one incident, not one instance before, during, or after Karbala, you find where any member of Prophet's family, even the survivors who became captives after Karbala and Usara, right? None of them showed any weakness in the face of Taghut. None of them. None of them showed any sorrow or regret for what happened. None of them apologized. None of them showed any weakness in the face of all the adversities, all the hardships, and all the challenges that they had to face. None of them. Neither Ruqayya nor any other member of Prophet's household. They died, but they continued on the same path as Hussein ibn Ali alayhi salam. Please cite a salawat. Sallallahu Muhammad. Imam alayhi salatu wasalam has mentioned in many places that you all need to come close to us. You need to take from our example, take inspiration from our guidance. And Imam alayhi salam warned the people of the love of this life, blinds people, love of this dunya, blinds people. Right? Because this dunya has been compared with a sarab, Sarab is like a mirage, in the desert. You think there is something very important. It's real, and you come close, you find nothing. Mirage is like this water thing you see on the desert far away. You come close, you don't see anything there. Dunya has been compared to a rented place that you are staying for a few days or months, right? Soon you will move. Like I mentioned earlier, Musafir Khune, like a motel or something. You stayed overnight or a few nights. How much do you expect from that place where you are only staying for a few days? Really? For example, if you are another example of this dunya has been a place where you have been invited. Let's say someone invites you for a dinner. Okay, you go to that person's place. Maybe then the place is not very clean. Maybe the food is not the best in the world. Maybe the people, let's say, something you don't like about that place. Are you going to complain? What will you expect from, for example, a place where you're going to stay for 2 hours? No, you don't expect much. You'll be grateful for somebody serving you something to eat. Right? Dunya is like that. Dunya has been compared to a money that you got in your dream. In the hadith we find hadith of Imam al-Baqir alayhi salatu wasalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Says dunya is like a hefty amount of money you got in your dream. For example, you slept tonight, in your dream you saw someone give you $1 million. And then you wake up, something wakes you up, fortunately. Something wakes you up and you look around, where's that? Money gone. Similar to that is this dunya. Suddenly we wake up one day. What was that all about? It happened like a very short span of time. Dunya will be like that. You won't even believe that you spent 70, 80 years in this world. Really? Look at your own life. You may be 20 years old, you may be 30, you may be 15, you may be 40 years. Look back in your life. At this moment, as I speak, look back how the time you have spent in this world. Does it look like a long time? Seem like just passed. Just passed so fast. Remaining is always the same. Whatever remains is going to be the same. 70 years don't even look like 70 years anymore, right? Feel like, what? 70 years? I've already spent in this world? Don't look like 70 years to me. Similarly, one day this will all pass. Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam said, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala- said, "Oh people, be careful. All the haram things of this dunya, right, should be like worthless things in your eye. All the haram things should be like trash in your eye. Look at all the haram things as trash. Like something that has been thrown away. They clean some crop and then they throw away the things that they don't need. Dunya is like that. Learn from that which is gone by, things in the past. Learn from that and leave this world. Because this world has left and this world has abandoned people who were more in love with this dunya than you are. He said, leave this world for others. Because people who love this world even more than you do, this dunya did not do justice to them, was not faithful to them. This dunya is not faithful to anyone. Dunya will not be loyal or faithful to you, even if you are faithful to this dunya. It's like saying, in other words, like we dream about things we'll have in this life, right? So there are two ways. Either we'll have those things or we won't have them. Even that has many options. One is that we will live to see those things, or maybe we die before we get there. Maybe we live, but we don't get it. People who, let's say, they're dreaming that they will have so many, whatever, money and this and that. Well, sometimes they try their best, but they don't get it. Possible. We've seen all around us. All this time they were living with this one dream, which they don't know if they will actually get. Other option is they will actually get what they want. The dream will actually come true. They will achieve what they want. So let's say you do achieve your dream, and that dream stays with you. You will not live with that dream for very long. So it will go to someone else. Very soon you will pass away. Very soon we will leave, we will depart this life. This world will not be loyal to us as we expect it would. No, it will not be. Imam says, consider all the haram of this dunya. Haram things that we are not allowed to eat. Haram things that we are not allowed to work in those things. Haram things that are that the objectives people have. Some of them are not halal. Some of them are not good. Some ways people earn money, some things that they want to do which actually are haram by themselves. But not every occupation is halal. And other things, for example. So consider them worthless, like things that have been trashed. Because even if you love that very much, dunya has not been, wafa, has done that wafa to people who love this dunya even more than you do. Beside the salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. This message of akhirat, that our aim should be akhirat, aim should be Riza of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, was taken very seriously by Ahlul Bayt, by followers of Ahlul Bayt. They put all their heart and soul into akhirat. Our goal is that when we depart this life, we close our eyes of our head, when they close, eyes of our heart will open. And our whole objective is that when our inner eyes open, the first thing we want to see is the face of Mawla Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam. That is we want to see. Salam Muhammad wa. We've been given this bashara. Man yamut yarani, ya Haru Hamdan. Imam Ali said to Haritha Hamadani, he said, Ya Haru Hamdan, man yamut yarani, mu'minan kana aw fasiqan aw kafiran. He said, oh Harith, whoever dies will see me. Whether he's a mu'min or he's a kafir. Everyone will see the face of Imam Ali. So it means there's something more important waiting for us right there. That is something very pleasing to the eye. Imagine your first thing you encounter is Imam Ali's smiling face and saying, I give you shafaat. Your sins, will be forgiven. You followed my path. So whatever shortcomings you have, I will take care of them. That is first basharat given to you. Now there may be troubles, there may be hardships in the barzakh, whatever it is, but he gives you the final result. He goes, okay, whatever comes of you, I will save you. Isn't this great? Isn't this better for a person to be saved forever, to have salvation, to gain, for example, all the paradise and everything, right? I'll end with one short something I found in history. Please cite a salawat. Allahumma salli Muhammadan wa ala. This person came from far away to see the Prophet of Islam on a camel. It was this old man. He arrived in Medina from long distance. And he stopped his camel somewhere. I was about to say parked his camel. Stopped his camel. He got down from his camel, and there was a group of people sitting around, I think, the masjid or wherever that place was. He said, which one of you is Muhammad? People pointed out, this one is Muhammad. Rasulullah did not presented himself different from people. He was just like one of them. So he said, this one is Muhammad. So he came up to Rasulullah. He said, oh Muhammad, you are Muhammad? He said, yes. What did God send you for? He said, he sent you to teach people about these things, stay away from adultery, stay from haram, do this, be nice to your parents, take care of orphans, this and that. Okay. So he kept shaking his head. He said, okay, that I understand. What else did he ask you for? Says Rasulullah turned to Imam Ali alayhi salam. He said, and Allah asked me to require you to believe in this man, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam. If you believe in him, then all these are accepted, which I told you about. If you don't believe in him, all this is lost. So this man, the first encounter, Rasulullah points to another man. He looks at the face of Imam Ali. Now here's the thing, looks at the face of Imam Ali. He found his face very attractive. He says, something about this man I like very much. Okay, deal. Accept him. Accept, I'll follow this man. So after 1 month or so, I will come back to you, O Muhammad, and I'll ask you about the details of all these things you are telling me, Salat and so on and this and that. I will come and learn from you all that stuff, all that good stuff. So he says salam to Imam Ali, and he goes back to get back on his camel. As he's putting his foot, in the rakab. What do you call that? Put his foot to get on the back of the. It's not easy to get as a horse or camel. Sorry. Yes. Yeah. He slipped, and he basically he couldn't, and he fell down. He died right then. Death came. Death came. Rasulullah asked his companion, "Get up. Let's bury this man of Jannat. Let's bury this man who will go to Jannat." This man has not learned anything so far. His first visit, he doesn't even know salat or saum or fasting or anything. But he has done the biggest amal salih in this world, which is the hubb of Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala. Hubbu aliyin hasanatun la tadurru ma'ahu sayyi'atun. Love of Ali ibn Abi Talib is the biggest good deed a person can do. If you do that in the right way, if you do that, no other thing will harm you. La tadurru ma'ahu sayyi'atun. This Ali's love is the guiding light for our lives. This is something for which the Ahlul Bayt have done everything they did. Karbala happened to revive Ghadir, to revive the the system of Mawla Ali alayhi salam, the wilayat of Ali alayhi salam. Karbala was all about that. Because uh, Imam Hussein alayhi salam on the day of Ashura, there are many khutbat Imam delivered. In one of the khutbat, he asked him, do you testify, do you bear witness that I am the son of Fatima? They said, yes. Do you agree that I am the only living son of Rasulullah? Khamisu Ashab al-Kisa? They said, yes. Do you believe that my uncle was Ja'far-e-Tayyar, who is flying in the paradise with his wings that Allah has given him? He said, yes. Do you believe in so and so? Do you believe in this and that? Yes. So why are you trying to kill me? He said, بُغْضًا لِأَبِيكَ وَمَا فَعَلَ بِأَشْيَاخِنَا ثُمَّ بَدْرٍ وَأُحُدٍ وَحُنَيْنٍ and all that. He said, we are here to kill you because of the grudges we have against your father Ali. And for what he did in the battle of Badr and Uhud and Khaybar and Khandaq and Hunayn and all those battles, Ali alayhi salam. So our opponents from that till today, they are doing what they are doing with the books of Ali ibn Abi Talib, which has not stopped. We are doing whatever we are doing for the hope of Ali ibn Abi Talib, and we are not changing either. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has required us to follow the path of Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, to show our bara'at to the Taghut and to those who have grudges of Mawla Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wasalam. Please say the salawat. This is the night of the 7th of Muharram al-Haram, the night of Ali al-Asghar, the night in which Imam Hussein alayhi salam had lost everyone in his camp. And Ali Asghar's life is just as much as the journey of Imam Hussein. He was 6 months old, and the journey of Imam Hussein was also 6 months old. It was like he was born right before Imam Hussein left Medina. So he was newborn, Imam Hussein left Medina on the way to Mecca. And then from Mecca, when the letters came from Kufa, Imam alayhi salam took Ali Asghar with him. And so you can imagine Ali al-Asghar was being nursed by his mother. And when the events unfolded the way they did in Karbala, the camps were moved away from the river bank. And then water was blocked from the 7th of Muharram al-Haram till the 10th. And the water was blocked, so the water started becoming less and less until they basically were not left with any water to drink. Imam alayhi salam and his companions Imam had asked for one more night. So the 9th of Muharram, the enemies came to fight. Imam alayhi salam asked Fazl Abbas to go and ask for one more night. And the reason he gave was, I want to do Qira'at of Quran and pray to my Lord, because he knows how much I love to Quran and how much I love to pray, to offer Salat. That was night of Ibadat, night where Imam Hussein alayhi salam also gave his companions the option to leave if they wanted to leave. The night when everyone was preparing their Shaheed for next day, or the Shaheed was preparing himself for the next day. Bab had 2 children, Sakina and Ali al-Asghar, which she had brought. And she did not have anyone who could fight. So her son was newborn, 6 months old. She was rocking his cradle at night, and Ali Asghar was thirsty, and she was not able to nurse him at all, feed him. So next morning, again, it was a very eventful day without water and the heat over there. One of the reasons there was a lot of heat was because Imam alayhi salam had to light fire behind the tents to protect the tents so that people don't attack from behind. So the heat of the flames that were around the tents on 3 sides caused there to be a lot of heat in the camp of Imam alayhi salam. There were few fighters in the army of Imam Hussein. One by one they went meet their fate. One by one they died. One by one they were killed. And everyone would ask Imam Hussein alayhi salam for the final farewell. Imam Hussein would run, would rush to find that person fallen on the battlefield, because he was worried that any of my ashab who gets killed, they will behead him. Imam Hussein would carry the body, come back. Imam Hussein was more thirsty than anyone else in the camp. Imam kept raising his voice and saying, "Hey, anyone, hal min nasirin yansuruna? Is there anyone who would come to help us? Hal min dhabun yadhubbu anna, or yadhubbu an harami Rasulullah? Is anyone who would come and protect the household of Prophet Muhammad?" At one point, Imam alayhi salam, when he raised his voice asking if there was anyone to support Imam Hussein alayhi salam, there was a sound of crying coming from the camp. Imam turned around and went inside the camp and asked, "Has any child died? Why are you all crying?" And they said, "No, it was not about that, but Ali Asghar made himself fall from the cradle." Asghar had not much energy left in his body, but he made a final struggle to answer his father's call. Imam al-Islam said, "I will take my son," and asked for water. Picked him up and brought him outside. Some people write that Rabab dressed him up. Ali Asghar is so young, he has never been in public. She put a green dress on him, prepared him, and whispered something in his ear. Allah knows whatever she whispered. Imam al-Islam took Ali Asghar outside. He spoke to the people. In lam tarhamuni farhamu hadha tifl. If you have no mercy for me, if you think I am your enemy, I have done something wrong, this child has not done any wrong. Farhamu hadha tifl. Ama tarawun kayfa yataladha atasha. Don't you see how he's taking his final breaths? Yataladha in Arabic means, the fish, if you take the fish out of water, for some time the fish will continue to shake and struggle. A time will come when the fish is only moving his lips and is taking the last breath. Don't you see, my child is like that fish who's taking his final breath. Imam is trying to say that even if you give water to my Ali Asghar, he will not survive. It's not like I'm asking to save his life, because he is passing anyways. But a little bit of water will show who you are. They did not respond. Some of them, the older ones in the army of the enemy, Ibn Sa'd's army, they said, "Well, Hussein is making sense because he's our enemy. This child has done nothing. Let's take this child and feed him, like quench his thirst." But Omar Saad, he turned to Hurmula. Now, Hurmula is something Imam Sajjad later on said when Mukhtar was taking revenge. He said, "Has he killed Hurmula?" And people said, "No, he has not." Then tell him that until Hurmula is get the revenge is not complete. Hurmula was asked by Umar ibn Sa'd to iqta kalam al-Hussein. Hurmula said, "Where do you want me to shoot? Do you want me to shoot Hussein or this child?" He said, "Don't you see that white area under his neck? Why don't you shoot that child?" Hurmula shot that arrow. With that arrow had 3 points. It was an arrow he had made, dipped in poison, and he brought it to kill, like it was supposed to be used for hunting big animals. And the hadith says, the report says that the min al udhun ila al udhun, when the arrow came, it cut Ali Asghar's throat from his ear to his ear. Basically, the first person to be beheaded in Karbala was the son of Hussein ibn Ali. Were not beheaded until that point. Imam Hussein were able to bring their bodies back. Ali Asghar's head was beheaded, and he was still in the arms of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Ali Asghar died in the arms of his father. Imam did not know what to do with his son. Should he bring him back to his mother? Should he bury him behind the camp? What should he do? So he took several steps towards the camp and came back. 7 times Imam alayhi salam did that. And inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, ridan biqada'ihi wa tasliman li amrih. La'natullah ala al-qawm al-zalimin. Wa saya'lamu alladhina zalamu يوم انقلب ينقلبون اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج اللهم لعن أول ظالم ظلم حق محمد وآل محمد وآخر تابع له على ذلك. اللهم لعن العصابة التي جاهدت الحسين وشايعت وبايعت وتابعت على قتله. اللهم لعنهم جميعا بجاه محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين.